All right. Universally Estranged is a death metal band out of the Houston, Texas area. It's a solo project from a fellow who is anonymous. I know who it is just from talking to the person, but it's, not somebody you would know or recognize from metal. Um, the important thing is that he's definitely reached a high point of quality on his two full lengths at this point and done most of it himself to great effect. I think that um, the first record I wasn't sure what I was getting into. A lot of what it was a collection of guitar riffs. You could tell someone had turned into an album by like approaching it, which I'm fine with. That's a pretty normal thing for a solo project. But the real expertise was in the presentation of the guitars and a lot of the sort of programmed or synthesizer based elements. And then the vocals, the patternation of all that kind of came secondary in consideration after the songs seemed like they were fully written uh, before the drums had been worked out and then the vocals were eventually worked out. So I think that's something I confirmed in an interview, and that's not a big deal. It was still a very good album, and it still holds up as a sort of a standout thing. But with this second album, Dimension of Deviant Clusters, I think that he's taken the time to really uh, consider the vocal presence more in this the in within the song, and it's forced these songs to read more like songs, and that means that it's not just a riff idea that's cool that gets a lot of bells and whistles on it, but it's a full song with several riffs that sort of showcase a lot of his different taste in everything from slam to electronic music and whatnot. So for me, this appeals to me because I like that strange era of late 90s death metal where a lot of progressive metal acts started to incorporate brutality into their sound. And these are very niche bands, and I won't even bother like naming all of them, but um, this gives me that feeling of something that's a bit strange, a little bit different, but still effective and modern. It really is a modern death metal record by most accounts. You'll hear a little bit of sort of that bass Morbid Angel sort of idea. So if you like that Labyrinth of Stars record that I reviewed a while ago, you'll probably like this. And this is a lot more considered and detailed overall. So, the laser sounds are all over the place on this record. I'm definitely there for it. I think it's pretty awesome. And yeah, there's just a lot of detail here. I think that the guitar work, I think, what do I say here? It's compare it to sort of like a necroticism level of uh, adding detail to every song, adding a hook. Whether like back then it would have been like an industrial element, and then it would be switching between grindcore and death metal with a guitar hook, kind of put tying it all together. That's sort of what we get here in a different form with his own influences in mind. So that's what that sentence meant. So you can figure that out for yourself. Um, so yeah, I say this would appeal to people who are into everything from Wormed to Inoculation. I think that's not the biggest spread, but it is, something from the 2000s till now. You can carry those influences through, and it's a half an hour record, and a lot of it is just generating atmosphere. A lot of it is just getting right to the best part of the song, a big riff. A lot of it is a little bit more brutal than before. Um, I think for this record, I knocked up the score about 3 points more than the last one, making it sort of a very high recommendation. Um, and because I do think it is that much better. I do think it is on. It's just sort of reached that tier of this is not only cool, but I know from the last record that I'm still gonna really enjoy this record when I pick it up a year later. So uh, you know, you could that might be different for other people depending if you like this type of music. But I think this is something which doesn't consider trends so much, and it's really just trying to be its own thing without anything really self-conscious going on. There's no real uh, fail state for a record like this because he's doing his own thing and doing it well at every turn. So no need to sort of fit in with the general what everyone else is doing, and I appreciated that. So I go into more detail in the review. You can go read that and check it out, or just go listen to it. It's going to be available here pretty soon on the weekend, so make your own decision from that point.